Have you been thinking about buying a house? Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the 12 things never to say when you're shopping for a home. Welcome to Living on Vancouver Island. I'm your host, Patrick Novotny, realtor serving Victoria and the surrounding areas. Now, if this is your first time here and you want to know everything there is to know about Victoria and Vancouver Island, and of course, if you want to know the buying and selling process of real estate, then the best thing to do is subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. Now, we're getting phone calls, emails, and text messages every single day from people just like you wondering if island life is right for them. So if that's you, then give us a call and we can help you make a smooth move to Victoria, BC and Vancouver Island. So before we get started, we're going to set some ground rules. I just want to let you know, if you're talking to listing agents out there, if it's an open house or you're contacting them for information about their listings, the important thing is they are working for the seller. They owe loyalty, confidentiality, they have a fiduciary duty, and they owe privacy. So they can't answer any question that you have. They can answer factual questions, but nothing personal about the seller. Meaning anything you share with the listing agent, let's say at an open house for example, or if the listing agent is present during a viewing, could be shared with the home seller. Ground rule number 2, always treat the home like it's being monitored. It could be as simple as a security camera outside over the garage or driveway backyard, or it could just be listening smart devices. So a side note to the sellers is to check with the laws in your area and create a plan to mitigate any legal exposure. In many cases, for home sellers, it's just to make potential buyers aware that there's a security system with video and audio recording at a home. Many times, recording devices are in plain sight and not noticed, such as cameras located in a house but are aimed at driveways or garages. If you're a home buyer looking at a home for sale, just assume there might be smart devices that could be listening, and refrain from getting into too much detail or give away any of your buying intentions. Perhaps waiting until you can have a private conversation away from the property before discussing your level of interest. Under the criminal code, it is an offense to willfully intercept a private communication, which covers any oral or telecommunication made under reasonable expectation of privacy. This restriction pertains to audio surveillance or recordings. Also, the Privacy Act of British Columbia falls under the tort law, which is actionable in civil court without proof of damage for a person willfully and without claim of right to violate the privacy of another. As this is not legal advice, I recommend getting advice and direction from your lawyer before listing your home. So number 1, in general, you never want to share what your motivations, your reasons why buying a house are to anyone. Real life examples would be, you're getting transferred for work and you're on your house hunting trip and you only have a week to buy a house. You sold your house and you're running out of time before you have to get out of your house, so you might be homeless. You just had your 3rd child and you need another bedroom. Or sharing that you have to have your kids in a certain school district, or your work is requiring you to be in a certain municipality. Number 2, as much as I would advise never to share what your motivations are, I would also advise not to ask what the seller's motivations are to sell their property. Of course, asking this could result in making your working relationship with the seller awkward if you're going to negotiate with them, especially if they're going through some kind of hardship, if it's financially or a personal relationship causing them to sell their home. You know what? I'm going to expand on that. Most of the time, it's a pretty normal reason. People are ready to either move up in their household, they've been living in their house and they're just outgrowing it, or they're empty nesters and they've just held on to the house for a long time and they've just come to a point where they're ready to make a change. That's all. It's not always a financial hardship or personal breakup or anything like that. You know, after a while at looking at houses, there's signs and symptoms that if there is a divorce happening or if there is financial hardship, it's pretty easy to read a house like a book after you've seen enough houses. It's best that you don't ask a question like that where it's a little bit too personal, you might come off like a jerk, and if you are going to be negotiating, it might be more difficult to bring an agreement together that's going to be best for you. So number 3, whatever you do, do not criticize somebody's personal items or their decor. Number 4, never tell the homeowner that their price is too high or they'll never get their list price. Now, for one, it makes you come off a little bit rude, and you never know what's going to happen with real estate sometimes, where in a week or two or some given more time, that the right person might come along and see the value that you didn't, or let alone having 2 or more people see the value at any given time, and then that property sells in multiple offers for more than they were asking. Number 5, if you're at the property and the seller is there or the listing agent is there and you discover something that needs to be repaired, don't ask for it to be replaced. Leave that to the negotiations. Number 6, whatever you do while you're in the house, never discuss with your realtor or your spouse or somebody that you're there with how much you're willing to pay for the house. Keep that conversation away from the house, assuming that the house has ears, not in the driveway, and even in earshot of like a neighbor that's a little nosy. Have that conversation somewhere in private. Maybe it's in a car or an office somewhere else, away from the house. Number 7, whatever you do, do not let anybody know what you're qualified to borrow. If that gets out, it could ruin your negotiating position, and you might be paying more than you planned for a home that you still qualify for. Number 8, whatever you do, don't tell them it's your dream home. It's perfect for you and the family. It's the right amount of distance from work. It's got everything you need. No. If you do meet the seller, it's okay to be polite. You can compliment them on their decor and their house, but whatever you do, don't say it's your dream home. They're going to be in a better off position negotiating against you knowing that. Number 9, whatever you do, don't negotiate or make your first initial offer at the seller's house. And the reason is you're on their turf and you're negotiating from a position of weakness. Now, of course, on that note, you want to make sure all your offers are done through your realtor properly in writing. Number 10, whatever you do, don't tell the seller if you're going to make a lowball offer that you're making a lowball offer. You're just going to come off like a jerk and make it harder for you to get the house that you want. Number 11, whatever you do, don't talk about renovating while you're inside the home. If the seller hears you, they might get personally offended with any of your comments. They might be emotional, they could be attached to the renovation that they did a long time ago, whatever it might be. Just keep that to yourself, maybe make some notes, and leave it again to the negotiating, how much you're willing to pay despite it might need a renovation or updating. Number 12, whatever you do, don't tell them how much you're willing to pay. Put it in writing, get it presented properly. If it's not in writing, in real estate, it's not enforceable. I hope you found that video really informative. If you're even thinking about moving to Victoria or anywhere on Vancouver Island, we've got people reaching out to us every single day that are moving out here. It's amazing. So if that's you, get a hold of us and we can help you make a smooth move to Victoria and Vancouver Island.